Have Wall Street's AI skeptics lost touch with reality? Tom Lee fires back. Lee reveals why Nvidia isn't even in a bubble, why Palantir could be the next Tesla, and why only 21% of fund managers can keep up with the S&P's epic run. Are you missing the real winners?
The shutdown robbed us of visibility on the macro data, and of course there's economic hit and there's suffering because air traffic is slowing. So I think for many reasons, I think this shutdown was a problem for investors.
So what about now between now and the end of the year? It's the AI trade that really seems to be debated. How do you feel about it heading into this final stretch?
I think it's still in really good shape fundamentally. We know there's a lot of visibility for AI spending, and we know there's still innovation and gain of function taking place with the models. So to me, it makes sense that there's still a payoff coming. I think one of the issues that investors are going to grapple with is even though they may say AI stocks are expensive, Nvidia still only trades at 29 times forward earnings. I mean, it's still cheaper than Costco, so it's hardly a bubble valuation.
No, but I don't think when they talk about the valuation of AI stocks, they're necessarily talking about Nvidia. I think you would agree with me on that. They're more so talking about names like Palantir and some others where you could easily say, yes, their earnings have been great and the story's incredible, but at some point you're only willing to pay X for a stock, and maybe that one's gotten a little bit too rich, using that as an example of the kind of names they're talking about.
Yeah, I mean, I think Palantir is an example of what they call like an N=1 company. You've got a founder-led business developing products that really seem like magic for the companies that adopt it. So, should this just be getting a softer multiple? I don't think so. And Palantir's opening up so many markets, and if it was a venture capital firm, they'd be getting, potential carry for how they transform businesses. So to me, I think that this is still a market discovering, how to define the valuation model for Palantir. But to me, that doesn't mean it's a bubble. People would have said that about Tesla in 2018 because it looked incredibly expensive, and the stock in Tesla has been a huge performer since then.
But what was last week about then, do you think, at its heart?
Well, I think at the heart is the market wobbles. And so when the market wobbles, two things. One is they start to take shots at the leaders, right? Because they try to take down the leaders, thinking that's what leads us down. But the second, it really highlights the grim reality that we're about to have a third year of double-digit gains. The S&P's up 80% over the past 3 years, and funds are measured on 3-year performance. Only 21% of fund managers are beating 80% over that 3-year period. It is one of the worst ever periods for fund managers, and so they'd rather see the market fall so that it falls to their performance level. I think what's more likely, of course, is the market follows a seasonal pattern, which means there's going to be a lot of chasing into year-end.
Don't you have any concern at all about the level of money that these companies are spending on their build-out, and now the new wrinkle of tapping the debt market rather substantially to help do it?
I mean, Scott, yes and no. I mean, AI is proving to be a scale game. It's not like you and I could start a garage and make a model competitive with OpenAI. We need to have scale and a lot of chips. That's really the model that was required for telecom infrastructure and for energy infrastructure and, of course, for internet infrastructure and even fiber. So it makes sense that a handful of players are really playing a big role. And just like in the energy system, there's 8 majors. Everybody spends money on the 8 majors, and the 8 majors pay a smaller ecosystem. So I think it makes sense that that's what's developing in the U.S., and of course it's leaving other countries in the dust.